Hello and welcome back to my channel. A few months back, the world got hit by the corona pandemic. We got hit hard. And since then, so much has changed. It almost feels like a different world we live in sometimes. During this time, and because of this situation, I was able to take away a lot of lessons in my own personal life, and I had a lot of new realizations. And I think it's so important we all also have more conversations about these realizations we've had during this time, so we don't just continue the way we were before. I want to be clear that with this video, I'm in no way trying to take away from the difficulties many people have experienced because of this situation, but I also think there is enough content out there to last at least 500 lifetimes that is covering the negatives, and I think in this case there should also be some more focus on these lessons we have learned, and also to take responsibility for the fact that things are the way they are. So let's continue with the 10 lessons I have learned during the corona lockdown. Number one is that I really want to live on a planet that is happy, healthy, and peaceful. And I think we all knew that. I knew that, but I also realized how much I wanted it the minute it wasn't there anymore. I feel like there is this global idea to just continue the way we are because surely someone will come around and make this happen. But this imaginary person we think will come around and make it happen is us. Because of that, it came naturally for me to think more about some things that I can do that can contribute to that even more, and also appreciate the things that I am already doing and see how important they really are. That's why in the beginning I was saying I think it's so important we focus on these realizations we've had from this time, even when things are starting to go back to normal, so we don't just forget them, because obviously normal was not working, normal was the problem. Number two, it is okay to do nothing at all. We live in a day and age where it's getting more and more popular by the day to be successful and work hard and stay consistent and hustle, as they say. And that's all good and fine, but when quarantine happened, I started to feel this pressure that I had to live up to these standards, and I was creating these lists in my head of things that I had to get done by the time things would go back to normal. But over time, I could see that that didn't feel right, so I had to learn to just simply do nothing and enjoy the state of calm and relaxation, because I forget that oftentimes. I literally put a huge yellow post-it on my window that says I'm allowed to live life and be happy, because it's not all about getting done. Number three, I don't need to and want to go shopping as much anymore. The minute all the shops closed and everyone was stuck at home, bored, not knowing what to do, I feel like a lot of people started online shopping like crazy, and I fell into that hype for a second there. I was about to order a lot of things online, but then I realized that that's not something that I actually genuinely wanted to do. Don't get me wrong, I mean, I would love to have a new closet and buy all these new things that I wanted to order, but I kind of had this realization that given the current circumstances of our environment and this wake-up call when suddenly everything wasn't normal anymore, I realized for myself that shopping is something that I can easily cut down on. And so I haven't really bought anything in the last 4 months, I would say, because I realized that it was more a habit or following a hype than an actual desire. When I really feel inspired to buy something or I really need something, I will buy it, but because of other reasons, I feel like there's no need to, at least for me. 4, the importance of freedom. I live in Germany, so I have a lot of freedom to wear what I want, go out when I want, say what I want, meet who I want, and I think I've definitely been aware of that privilege growing up, just because I've had the opportunity to travel to a lot of places where that is not the case. But I think it's a human tendency with anything, when it's around for a long time consistently, we start to maybe take it for granted a bit or appreciate it less. And so when Germany was about to decide whether they would forbid people to go outside or not, I felt this panic that the government would be able to tell me what to do, because going out is super important for me, so being restricted in that was a very new and also horrible feeling. But many people live with that feeling on the daily, and it made me realize this freedom that I have even more and motivated me to do good with that, because not everyone has that privilege. Number 5, I want to become a minimalist. I used to be a person who loved owning a lot of things and just having a lot of things standing around, decorating my room, especially things that have memories to them were hard for me to part with. That has kind of changed over the years, but during during quarantine, I realized how anxious I started feeling having so many things in my space, and I just wanted to like pack it all up and throw it out of the window. So I've started to kind of clean out most of the things in my room, and it sparked this desire in me to want to live a minimalistic life. And I'm definitely not there yet. I'm on my way, but it is for sure a place I want to be in very soon in my life. Number 6, I prefer a slow-paced life. I feel like society and social media makes it seem like you are living your life to the fullest and are successful if you have a very crazy schedule and are always busy. And if you want that, there's nothing wrong with that. Many people also just can't change that due to circumstances in their life. But I realized for myself that I started to live that way, not because I really wanted to, but because of this outside pressure. And so before lockdown, I was working on a lot of things, but I was also creating more and more things I could work on, even though it was already too much, because I wanted to have this very busy schedule, because that made me feel like I was living life to its fullest. But then when lockdown happened and a lot of things got cancelled and things just kind of started to slow down, I realized how much that's actually not me at all. I love being productive, having a routine, and just using my time wisely, but I also really enjoy having a certain flexibility in my life and a certain calm, and to live life at this kind of slower pace. I just function better that way. Number 7, the importance of flexibility. It's always a good idea to have a direction in life and plans and goals, that's for sure, but it's also always important to make sure to put a sprinkle of flexibility into those plans when making them. I had very clear plans of how this year was going to be, and I didn't really put any sprinkles of any flexibility in that at all. I was like, this is what's going to happen, this is what I'm going to do. And then Corona came and kind of changed those plans completely. I got fired, a big project of mine got cancelled, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, excuse me, life, like for once I have plans, for once I know what I'm gonna do, and then this. Sometimes things don't turn out the way we want them to, and I've come to learn to not only accept those changes but also to embrace them and always stay solution oriented. Obviously, I'm not talking about people who have more responsibility. For example, a mother with 3 children being fired in this situation is a completely different scenario than what I'm talking about right now. But for us younger people who maybe don't have so much responsibility, I think it's always important to just keep flexibility in our own plans, and I definitely had to learn that throughout this time. Number 8, I'm more of an introvert than I thought. I've always known that, but I realized that I adapted myself to a certain extent to what I saw in most people around me so that I wouldn't feel too different. Like there were many times where I would go out in the evening because everyone else was, even though I might have enjoyed it more to just stay at home by myself. During quarantine, I realized how much better I function when I don't go out into too loud environments too often, but only every once in a while when I really feel like it, and that I don't need to feel like I'm missing out on something, or it's maybe something people won't like or accept, because everyone is allowed to live the way they want to, and we don't have to prove anything to anyone, as I've said before. Number 9, the importance of being alone. Being alone, and what I just talked about, is not only something I do because I want to. I'm sure sometimes it would have been easier for me to be around people, but I've learned how important it is to prioritize this time alone, and that the relationship with myself is actually similar to a relationship with someone else. Like if I'm dating someone, I will make time for them, I will do nice things with them, but I will also give them time to recharge and have space alone, and those things should also apply in my relationship with myself. I've made a whole video where I talk about the importance of being alone, how to deal with being alone, and also loneliness, so if you want to watch that, I will link it now. Number 10, I'm allowed to do nice things for myself and only myself. As I said, the relationship with myself should be seen equally as important as a relationship with someone else, in the sense of how much I prioritize it. And I realized how much I wasn't doing that, because oftentimes I put so much more effort into something when I knew someone else was also there, in comparison to when I was simply alone. And I realized during this time how important that is. Like, it can be bigger things such as buying something nice for myself, but also a lot of the times just smaller things. For example, if I'm watching a movie in my room, I will clean up the entire room, I will light a candle, I will make a bowl of popcorn, same as if a friend would be joining me. So these were some of the lessons I feel like I have learned during this time, and also just some things that have been reinforced for me. I feel like it's so important that we have more conversations about these realizations, so we don't just continue the way we were before. So if you feel like you've learned something, or you would like to share some realizations, I would love to hear about them in the comments if you feel like it. Other than than that, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, as always, make sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, subscribe, check out some other content of mine that always really helps me out. And yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.